Good morning, everyone. It is the 7th of May, 2024. Hope you're doing well. It's going to be a very nice day today. I'm looking forward to it. I don't have a lot to do on my car, but I do have a couple things I'm going to do this morning. One is I received this beautiful rebuilt 3-port fuel pump from a gentleman named Tony Bolin. He's out of Florida, so I promised him I'd give him a shout out. I mentioned him in my last video too, but I hadn't received the pump yet. So it's really nice. I mean, he did a really nice job. It's rebuilt, painted, all that, so it looks like new. I'm looking forward to putting that on. This is my old one, the one that I attempted to dismantle and basically ruined it, but I traded him for a reduction in price, so I'm going to send that back to him. And I was lucky enough to find all the little nuts and washers that I need to put my heat shield on my new pump, my replacement pump. Every time I see one of these pieces, I know I should paint it, but you know, I'm saving stuff like that for when I actually do a proper detailed restoration of the car, which is not what I'm doing right now. So, and the other thing was, it occurred to me that the reason I might have been having problems with my preformed fuel lines is that with the that 2-port fuel pump that many of us have used, that isn't really the right pump for these cars. It pushes the fuel filter out probably about that much, you know, probably an inch and a half, which may have been the reason I was having so much trouble trying to get a preformed fuel line to fit, because this was designed to fit with the original style fuel pump, and the fuel filter's not sticking out so far. So I'm hopeful. I went ahead and bought another one from Inline Tube. They were the first company that I attempted to buy one from, ended up returning it, and they refunded my money. Since they were nice about that, I gave them another chance, and I bought another one from them. The one that's on here right now is from Classic Tube. More expensive, same exact line, and that one I kind of damaged as I forced it, you know, to fit on the car and everything. That's why I wanted to buy another one, because that one's really got close to a kink in it, so I need to have a more open line than that. So I've been driving the car. I'm really enjoying driving it. She's running so good, handles well and all that. I'm just having a ball. So today I'm actually going to take her out to several jobs. I got to do some work today, so I'm going to take her. They're all within 45 minutes of where I live at most. So nice day, so I'll stretch her legs a little bit. Like I said, she's been running great, so I'm going to try out the replacement fuel pump today, and don't expect to have any more vapor lock problems. It only happened one time, but one time's enough. I'm actually seriously considering installing the AC compressor that I have. If you happen to have been watching my videos last year when I first started, I realized that the system, the air conditioning system, is still charged. It's still holding a charge of the old R12 refrigerant. So I preserved that by closing off the valves under the hood here where the compressor was. So the charge is still there. It's probably not a full charge, but I think it's got enough of a charge that it's safe enough to put the compressor back on, get a belt, put the idler pulley on, and see if it might work or not, because that'd be really cool if it actually had a working air conditioner. Ha, cool, get it? Pun. Unintended pun. But anyway, so that's it. I'm just going to put this new fuel pump on, put this new fuel line on, and then drive her for the rest of the day, doing some work, running some errands, that type of thing. So, looking forward to it. All right, you can see I have removed my old fuel pump, the old fuel lines down there on the ground. Just finished scraping off a little bit of gasket material that was still there. It wasn't much. This is one place that I still don't use sealer on. I just don't see the need for it. I've never seen a leak here. I think it's hard for oil to get up there where it would leak out anyway, so I don't worry too much about that. Gasket's in place. New fuel pump is here. All I got to do is insert it, put my heat shield on, my fuel filter back on, the new fuel line, and fire this baby up. Moving right along. I just finished installing my new steel fuel line there. There's no kink anymore at the carburetor, which was important to me, but I don't like the way it forced this fuel filter to kind of deform. And I guess they're meant to be somewhat flexible, so hopefully it won't leak or anything. If it does, then I may have wasted a very hard to find fuel filter, but hopefully this will work. At least it's in there. I didn't really have to bend the line too much. I did have to bend it a little bit to get it to line up enough to get the fittings in there, but hopefully that'll be good enough. Next come the hoses. All right, so now I'm done with installation. I ended up having to go to Napa to replace the larger of the two hoses. It turns out I had somehow squeezed a 5/16 hose on there when it needed to be a 3/8. I couldn't get the 5/16 on the inlet tube here. So I bought new hose for that, new clamps. Like I said earlier, my only concern was this fuel filter. I kind of contorted it a little bit, trying to force it to match up with this fuel line. Hopefully that bending won't hurt anything. We're going to find out soon. I think everything is tight. Managed to find my nuts and everything I needed for my heat shield. That's on. Little insulation here. So if this all works as designed, I shouldn't have to worry about vapor locks anymore. So we'll see how it goes. Well, my plans for using my car to run errands today didn't pan out. The fuel pump replacement went fine. I did eventually have to take the fuel filter off and put a little plumber's tape on the threads there where it goes into the fuel pump. And then I went to Harbor Freight and bought myself a set of skinny wrenches so I can get in there and tighten that properly. I've never had the skinny wrenches before, but decided now's the time to get them, so I did. Unfortunately, the job my mechanic did on my carburetor has failed. He didn't drill the threads properly on this side of the carburetor to accommodate my inlet, my fuel line there, and it's basically stripped out and I can't get it to stop leaking. So rather than trying to figure out a way to fix that, which I think would involve cutting new threads, a bigger fitting, all kinds of adapters, I think it would look pretty wonky and I don't know that it would really work that well. So what I've decided to do instead is I'm just going to use my friend JB Weld. I'm just going to take this fitting out, let it dry out real good, and then I'm just going to use JB Weld on the threads and around the fitting here, put it back together, and let that seal it up. That stuff, I mean, it may not be the best way to do it, but I know it will work. So I got to have something that I know is not going to leak. And right now I can't drive the car because it's just leaking too much gas. So I'm just going to disconnect that line, take that fitting out so I can let it air out. And then this evening after I'm done working, I'll come back and do the JB Weld thing and then let it cure for a good 24 hours or so before I attempt to fire it up again. Actually, it'll be longer than that because I got to work tomorrow, Wednesday. So that's it for now. All right, folks, I just got back from my several hours of work and I just did my little JB Weld mixture here and I coated the threads very lightly and I put a little bit more on the mating surfaces right here where it hits the where it sets against the carburetor body and screwed it in there, snugged it up good, not overly tight because the threads are stripped anyway. And then I put my steel line in there too and I tightened that up real good using a wrench, you know, 2 wrenches. That way I won't disturb that. If I were to wait to put this on later, I'm afraid I would possibly break that loose after it's cured. So I'm avoiding that. So I do believe I have enough of the material there, the epoxy, the JB Weld, and it says it dries in 6 hours, cures in 6 hours. I guess this is the JB Quick. So I may now. I'm not. I was gonna say I might try and start it in the morning before I go to work tomorrow, but now I'm not gonna do that. I'll wait till the day is over and I come back tomorrow afternoon or evening. That gives it more like 24 hours to cure just to be sure. So all I have to do to test it is simply start it and see what happens. And boy, it better not leak. If it leaks after all this, I'm going to have to take more radical measures. And that wouldn't be good. So, but anyway, at least the fuel pump's on there and it works beautifully. It looks great. So I'm real happy about that. I just got to get this leak over here solved and then I'll be able to continue driving it again and maybe take the next step and install an air conditioner compressor. So that's it for today. Thank you.